Hello, hello, welcome to Digs Outdoors. Tonight, going to try something a little bit different. Once we get some people rolling in here, what do you want to talk about? Um, just see where we are. Maybe something I can help you with. Maybe something you can help me with. Who knows? Um, but right now, let me see. Yesterday we should have had another video upload. I'm going to try to have another one going for tomorrow and go from there. I have a couple, two, three other videos stockpiled up, so I can edit something, get it, and get it in here real quick. But yeah, there's a couple things I've been working on. Getting ready to do a little bit of writing here too. And if you would like to see any of that, let me know in the comments. I have like maybe two or three people. I'd like to get a couple more before I start writing in mass. Just make sure my stuff's getting out there. But the article I'm thinking about working on here, or I should say the thing I'm thinking about writing about here next is moving through the woods with handrails and backstops. This is a way that I have been navigating through through the woods cross country for years. Um, it's something I've literally learned right back there. And why I say that, give me 1 second here. It is something that will definitely help you along the way. Um, Help you get found, help you find things, help you navigate out, help you navigate in. There we go. That's what I was looking for. I wanted to make sure that got mirrored. There we go. When I say back there, now it's going the right direction. Um, there are many things though that how can I say this, that help me using that. Um, Especially when it comes to exploration of new places. I'll do a little bit of map study. I'll do a little bit of Google Earth study and see what's out there. Sometimes my handrail is a trail. Sometimes it's a stream. Sometimes it's a ridge line. And my backstop, like if is either when I'm coming down off the ridge, I follow that ridge so it drops down to the bottom of the valley and I hit water. That water's my backstop, and I'll choose which direction to go when I get that water. 9 times out of 10 is I'm going downstream. So, and that's how that works. As soon as you hit that stream as your backstop and you turn, let's say you turn to go downstream, that's not your handrail, and you're going to go down to your next backstop, which might be a larger stream, a river, a lake, a road, what have you. That's going to become the next backstop, and then you have to choose what you want to do from there. But that's going to be the gist of it. But I'm going to have when I do the article, I'm going to have pictures to go with it, probably from Google Earth, to show you how there's a couple places that I haven't walked yet or hiked yet that I want to show you how I planned that out, how I'm going to go about doing this. So it may be interesting, maybe something you may be interested in, something you may be able to incorporate. Um, Along with that, um, I'm going to keep going on the budget bushcraft series, and see, I think we just did containers. Probably going to go into shelter next, just basic. get a covering over you type of deal. And I'm going to be using probably what I think is going to be the best bang for your buck. Now, yeah, the reason I decided not to do the fishing again this week was the fact that a lot of people I know right now are actually hanging out at tree stands. They're bow hunting or they're hunting for deer. Let's put it that way. And right now it's snowing, and we have freezing temperatures outside right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if you went to the lake right now. There's gonna be a little bit of ice start. Not a lot, not like the whole lake, but you're gonna start seeing ice starting to form like right along the edges. So that in and of itself kind of makes me think that fishing is going to be slowing down, if not coming to a stop here pretty soon. Which is okay. I didn't make it out this year. I've had issues, um, scheduling issues. I had some health issues. My dogs had some health issues. So it is what it is. It's called life. Things like that happen. So going to look forward to 2025 and give it hell. It doesn't mean I stop thinking about it though. But would like to know what's on your mind once people start coming in. There's some other things I'll probably be doing over the winter. If the snow does start to fly and everything freezes up, what I'm thinking about doing those, I may shift a little bit. Um, Maybe go do a couple book series along with the budget bushcraft. There's a couple other things I'm looking at as well. Um, I got some experimental stuff going on. I call it experimental, but I think some of the things that I got though in that might be of interest. But sitting there looking around here, may start doing some breakdowns, some stuff too. So who knows? So while waiting for people to get here, why don't we do this? I had an idea. No, it's a bad idea. Never mind. But yeah. Now there's one thing that I used to do that I'm thinking about breaking back into it a little bit, not a lot, and not so much full bore, but more of a disaster type of deal, and that is being prepared for things. Um, I was kind of taking apart my old get home bag because the job I have now, like I don't have that job where I was driving an hour to go to work every day. I'm driving like 15 minutes, if that. So it's not like I work like a million miles away anymore. So I was taking apart my old get home bag. I came across this old dude. I forgot I had that in there. And what it was, we'll open up the first pouch. Well, actually, we'll start on the outside first. First thing I had was charging brick for my phone, just in this outside pocket right here. So if I had to walk, at least I know I had at least that thing would charge with the phone I had at the time because I never had to use it on my new one. But this thing would charge the phone I had at the time. It would charge it up like 3 times. So that's not too bad. The other thing I had, since I was carrying a couple knives in there, is I had this guy. As soon as I get this thing to clamp down like it should. There. Little hunting file. Make sure I can keep my keep my blades taken care of. And that lived right there, so I had easy access to it. In here, in that first pocket there, you can't really see it, but I had a fire starter, some lighters. That's all I had in that pocket. I had like 2 lighters. I had like 2 lighters here, and in the back side I had a ferro rod too. Which, why I wasn't up here in the front pocket, I have no idea, but I had a ferro rod. Well, we're getting to that pocket here soon. Ferro rod here in the back pocket. I'm going to put this back in the front pocket. Now, this is the other thing I used to carry, and this is just part of that get home bag that I had, which I'm thinking about making another one. Just because the location changed, the distance changed. But one thing I would carry with me, though, is some dry erase markers. And the reason I carried these is the maps I carried were laminated maps. They were foldable maps. I mean, they had fold marks on it and everything. But I could write on it with these, and when I got done with it, if I needed to change anything, I could wipe it off and do another thing. So those maps worked a lot like a whiteboard. These worked perfectly on them. A couple pencils, and I carried a notebook about this big. It wouldn't fit in here, but I carried a notebook about this big so I could make notes and whatnot. And the last thing that was in this one, just in case I would need it, was a whistle. But all that small stuff stayed in here, in this little pack here. So that's one thing I'm going to be doing, is probably making another one that's smaller. I don't need that big, bulky pack like I had before when I was a delivery driver, and I was going to like 100 to 200 miles away from home every day. Where I'm working at now is literally 11 miles away from the house. I don't drive. I don't drive once I get there. I get there and work in the factory all day. So it's not like if I have to walk, I can't get home in a day. That's, it's going to take me some time, don't get me wrong, but I should be able to walk home, walk 11 miles after work, not a problem. So be looking for that to be coming up sometime in the near future. There are some things I may have in it. And being as my vehicle is on the parking lot, there may be a couple things I carry in there because inside of work, I'm not allowed to have certain items. I probably could have them in my Jeep if I didn't have them exposed, if you will. But there will be some things, maybe not, because that's most of the areas that I'm going to be going to. I mean, it's unavoidable. Is I'm going to be going through urban areas. That's unavoidable where I'm working. No, I mean, I work in the middle of an urban area, and to get home, I have to go through an urban area to get home. I can't get home without going through them. Here's the deal: I'm turning an 11-mile walk into about a 120-mile walk. Ain't happening. Whereas if I just go straight at it, I could probably be through those urban areas. And they're not bad urban areas by any stretch of the imagination. They're not the bad side of town or whatever you want to call it. Um, there's it normal urban areas, middle class. If I go straight at it, I could probably be through all of them within the hour before I hit any rural or actually rural area because it goes from like urban to rural like that. And then I could run most of that about a quarter of my trip. I could go through that rural area, and by the time I come out, I'm within 3 miles of the house at that point. So maybe not within the hour, but within 2 hours, I could be through there. So just some things to think about on my end, anyway. Um, as I said, I mean, anybody have anything else they want to talk about? Any questions? Anything? Um, the book series I'm thinking about doing is I kind of started it before and never really kind of followed up with it because of the way I was working. I just working way too many hours. But with the job I have now, I'm working just a steady 40 hours a week, nothing more. I do have like the Foxfire books. Um, I got a couple, two, three different books here that we could go through. Um, I'll probably do videos on it. I'm not going to do lives. I'll probably do like videos, kind of paraphrase it. Um, maybe give myself and give you guys some ideas, maybe some things to try, something along those lines. So, I mean, I have some ideas. Um, Trying to think of what else. So, yeah, I was hoping I'd have more people here, or at least people talking. I haven't seen any comments pop up on my thing yet. So, I'm kind of flying off the seat of my pants here. But there's a few things I think I could probably do the next couple 2 3 lives anyway. Put some thought put some thought into it and come up with something. Um, uh, like one thing I did, and I think I still have that video up. I didn't get rid of that. Is I made my own fix and wax, and I may make some more. It works really good, especially the way I mix it. Kind of really works good as a waterproofer. It is good for your skin though too. I've used it on my skin. It's a good medicinal. It's a hard salve, so you kind of have to get it warm, get squished up, and kind of squish it in. But it worked really good for that too. Um, so we could talk about that. Um, Trying to think. Well, there's something else that's been on in the back of my mind, and I can't. It's just not coming to me right now. Love when that happens. But on the fishing front, there's a couple things I may be doing there too. So I have some ideas on some baits I want to make, some things I want to try, kind of experimental stuff. Not spilling the beans on exactly what that is just yet. I want to see if I can make it at least feasible and think it'll work before I really unveil anything. I've been talking to Dexter about one of them, and I believe that if it works the way I think it's going to work, then I'm not saying it's going to be a game changer, but I'm going to take a certain bait and literally flip it on its head. Because when you use it, you have to kind of, I wouldn't say burn it, but you constantly have to keep it moving because of the weight. And I'm trying to eliminate as much weight off of this as I can so you can bring it to a dead stop. Literally pause it and it will sit there and slowly sink until you start it back up again. Hey, Carol. So I think that would be, as I said, that would be, I would, as I said, necessarily call it a game changer, but it will be a completely different look for that style of bait. There's a couple other ones that I am not saying anything on yet until I can get them patented. And the reason I say that is Japan hasn't even come out with this stuff yet. It may work great. It may be a total flop. I don't know. So it's one of those things I need to try it, see if I can get it to work. And if I can get it to work, patent it. And then see what I can do to go into production. Again, it's kind of taking a couple other known techniques and turning them absolutely on their head again. It's more like, I wouldn't even say taking techniques. I'm taking two baits, making one bait out of it, and it's going to work opposite the way either, I wouldn't say opposite, but the main bait that it is modeled after is going to work opposite of that, literally. So, something for me to think about anyway. And I said the only reason I'm not really saying too much is nobody else has come out with this yet that I know of, and I've done extensive research and I haven't seen anything like it. So this is one I kind of want to keep under my hat until I can see, until I see if I can get it patented. If I can get it patented, get it into production, and if I can get it into production, then I'll start saying something. Because there is a couple places here around me locally that if I come up with 50 examples of something, they'll try to sell them for me. Of course, they get a commission on it, but I'll be making a little bit of money off it. I mean, I'm not a greedy person, but if I decide to put the work into something like that, I would like to be compensated. That's only fair. Yeah, because there's a lot of things that I've done already that I never got compensated for, that I did for years, and it about broke me. Like its channel's about breaking me right now. It's because I've been doing this so long, never got close to getting monetized, and I've been running this channel out of my back pocket, and my pockets are getting a little thin right now. So, with that being said, I want to check something out here while I'm talking. Because another thing I said I was going to bring up or talk about is my photography. which it's been a while since I kind of dove into any of this, but let's get into that. I started out with 12. Let's go 13. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, that wasn't exactly what I thought that was either. I'm coming back. Just hang on here, guys. No, there's nothing there. Okay. Okay, baitcaster. A baitcaster is a type of reel that's actually set up more for long distance casting. They do have finesse setups now, but it's more of a heavy duty um, over a spinning rod. When you look at a baitcaster, your um, spool is going to be this way instead of this way. This way it's going to be your spin cast. This way it's going to be your bait cast. They usually have like a square body on them now, and you could. They're usually for casting for distance. Um, the thing to think about with that though is just the further you try to cast out, the less accurate your cast is going to be. But you could throw some pretty heavy stuff on that. Plus, most of them are going to be faster than your spinning rod setups, which like a spinning rod we have like a 6.3 to 1 reel ratio, which means every time you turn the handle one time around, the spool itself or what's bringing your line is going to turn like 6.3 times. Whereas your bait casters, most of them are like 7.2 to like 9 point something to 1, which means every time you turn that handle, that reel's going to turn that many times, which that's a lot of line you're going to be bringing back in. But let me see if I can find this here. Boom, picture in picture. Share screen. There we go. Share screen. Let's see if window. No. Never mind. What it's going to do, I can't get to work. Yeah, kind of like sea fishing, Carol. But I was going to try to get into that, but it's not recognizing the window that I use for actually viewing the pictures. Let me try this again here. Yeah, this is not kind of going the way I thought it was going to go, but it that's okay. share screen, window. There we go. Share. Okay. This is Brush Creek, and this is just some of the pictures I did. And this is walking down along. There's a trail what goes next to this creek. And right now, this is, I think, from 2015 or 2016. And the water is kind of low at this point. This is from the covered bridge in Brush Creek Park. Here, now we're going along the trail. This is well up the ridge here. But it's shots like this I used to specialize in. One thing you'll notice though is whenever possible, I'll try to get as much reflection in that water as I can. That kind of gives a little extra perspective. Chipmunk, fungus. There. That's what it looked like when I'm talking about reflection. There's a perfect example of it, and I really have to re-edit this picture. But yeah, this is one that, as I said, talking about pictures and doing the photography, like you can see how I was playing with the reflections of the trees here in the still water. Even over here in the ripples, you can get some of that. But in the still water, catching those reflections kind of adds an extra dimension to that picture. I know a lot of people will try to get rid of that, and I think it adds to it. Let's see what else I got here. I just thought that was interesting, the way the tree kind of grew up out of those rocks and it's pushing that one rock up while it's sitting on top of the other ones right in here. There's another good shot I forgot I had right there. Like you can get the full trees here in the water in the background that you can't see because there's tree hanging over, but you can catch reflections of those trees in the water. I love that. I caught some reflections in this one, but I kind of like the way the creek is and the way the trees are overhanging it, and the way you can see the bottom of the creek coming out here in certain areas where it gets like where you see these ripples out over here out in the distance. It kind of really breaks things up, but makes it pop all the same. Yeah, no, this is something I wasn't expecting to see in the park at the time. That's a fence post. That this is old farmland, which if you look behind us, how thick it is behind that fence post, that was the pasture. And I was standing outside the pasture and what could have been still woods at that time. So that's kind of like the difference between me standing in older growth and that being all newer growth on the other side of that fence post. Which I want to get back into that area, see if I can't find any more of those, and see if I could kind of put together how the pasture was, and if there's any buildings or anything else inside of that. I think that could be interesting. I'm kind of like I like to explore things like that. I'm not saying people don't know it's there. I didn't know it was there, so I wanted to start trying to learn about it. So that's just how my brain works. Nice orange tree. How about a woodpecker? There we go. This is a pond down there, that Brush Creek Park I was talking about. They got the birch tree there in reflection. Kind of looking out toward the front of the park. I'm standing toward the back side of it. A little bridge there. This is that same pond. No, this is probably my favorite shot of the whole thing. This is in fall of 2016, I believe, or 2015. Let me double check that here. Can't double check. Okay, never mind. But got the willow tree here. There's another bridge. I'm standing on the bridge. That first picture of the bridge you seen, I'm standing on that. Shooting over there toward the second one. There's like a pond there, a little opening, and then like another part of the pond on the back side of that bridge. But you got the willow tree reflected very very nicely in the pond here. Plus, you can see the color. This is kind of early fall because you see like there's still a lot of green, so the colors are just starting to pop out. And at this point, my light was starting to go away because I was trying to catch that tree and I just couldn't get it until I got into a dark area like this. That tree was just beautiful. And the sunset, a little bit more of the sunset, and we're done there. Hey, CR, what's up? Yeah, I'm just kind of going through some pictures right now, so something I haven't done in a while. I haven't done a photography thing and just kind of explain like what I was thinking when I took the picture. Well, you done flopped over there, dog. Oh, which ones is this? That's Springfield. Just I have so many different files with pictures in them. It's just unreal. Oh, no problem, man. Go back to share screen. Boom. Window. No, I kind of found this tree a little bit interesting just with all the rocks around it. Now I do know there wasn't anything that was built there, but the area that I'm in, this is not uncommon because it's extremely rocky. This would be McConnell's Mills State Park. As you can see, like with that tree's literally growing on top of a rock. Most of the trees there are growing just like that. This is more of a reference shot because I'm just off the road, but you can see off into the distance where a old roadbed or old path of some sort was going through here. Kind of like the top center left, you'll see a log laying down there between two trees, and that old roadbed went right out through there. So that's No, I walked it that day. Didn't really go anywhere, but I found that interesting. Signs of Life. We got some deer tracks here. Some of these shots that you see like this are more reference for me than it is for than anything else. Now this here, scenes like this kind of always spark my interest. With this, with the rock, with the way the rocks are, kind of, and this is just a very small smattering of what it's like down in that hollow. But kind of gives you an idea how rough this area is. And when I say rough, I don't mean ugly. I mean this area is what I would call ruggedly beautiful. Um, it's very rugged, but if you spend any time down there in that state park, especially down especially down there along Slippery Rock Creek in that part of the park, it's extremely rugged. But if you take time and actually appreciate what's around you, it's almost captivating. I love it there, and believe it or not, it's my second favorite state park in Pennsylvania. My favorite state park is Ricketts Glen, which we'll probably get into here in a little bit, at least half of it anyway, because I got tons of that. Another picture of those rocks. Now you can see the layering. Now the other interesting thing is if you look at the rock that's kind of sitting off to the left-hand side, it's kind of in half. You've got two layers, but the one layer has the striations that kind of go to 45-degree angle. That kind of caught my eye because that kind of gives you an idea how that rock broke and what was the separation between two different sedimentary forces going on there too. And there's the creek, and the creek is high right now. Little mushroom, more little mushrooms. Something that I don't ever hear anybody ever talking about. The process you see going on underneath that rock, that's something called honeycombing. That is a process where moisture will kind of settle into pores, and when it freezes, it'll it'll push a very microscopic amount of material off the rock. But over a series of years, this is what starts to happen with it. It starts getting pock marks all over it. But processes like this I always find very interesting because it also gives you an idea how long something's been exposed like that. Because not only do you have running water working on it, wind working on it, now you've got freezing water working on it as well. And that is a process that takes an extremely long time to do what it needs to do. Looking down through the pines at the creek. Now, one thing I will tell you about this area is once you drop over the ridge, you go down into that gorge, your GPS and your phone is not going to work. I carried both down here. Good luck with that. Little shelf fungus. Now, this is something interesting. This is a rock formation that a lot of the locals, I would say locals, but many people who know the park, they call this the pyramid. It is actually four-sided. It's actually cone-shaped, but it is a natural feature. Some people actually did think it was like a small pyramid that was constructed. Yeah, a variation of water weathering. Exactly, yeah, CR. But this is a known landmark down in that gorge. You'll hear people say, "Meet me at the pyramid." This is what they're talking about. Okay, some more of the creek, and as I said, the creek is kind of high at this point. Um, these rock, I'm not sure what made those holes. See if I have another picture. No, I don't. But I think these holes are actually human made, and they had something in them at one point in time. Like there's like it was like part of a mill. This is something somebody etched into the lichen, so that's nothing old. That's fairly new. Raccoon. Now this shot I kind of enjoyed. Trying to think here. I am looking upstream here. 422 being the distance, but very serene part of the creek. Now I will say this about the creek though. It may look serene. Don't go swimming in it. This creek has claimed more bodies and never gave them back up than most bodies of water combined. There's people that go swimming and go missing in this creek yearly. And what I mean when they go missing, they're never found, ever. A little tributary coming into it. This is the trail I was following. This would be the Alpha Trail, and this starts at the maintenance shed. It drops onto the gorge and goes. You can walk from the maintenance shed to Hoy to actually Hoy to Ecker Bridge on this side of the come on on this side of the creek. You can walk from the maintenance shed the whole way down to Ecker Bridge. Actually, you could go the whole way down to Breakneck Falls now. They added a new trail in there. More rock stuff. You can see where this came off the bottom of this larger rock sitting here. Yeah, this is something that I would. This park in and of itself is something I'd like to go into in depth sometime because how the gorge got created, how the processes involved with the ice dam. They thought the gorge itself at one point in time was actually a underground cavern with a creek flowing the opposite direction. And when the ice dam let go, it collapsed that roof, and that's all the rubble you see sitting down the bottom now. So it's kind of interesting how it got created. More water coming down through the rocks. Trying to say, I think I'm working my way up to Alpha Falls right now. More of the main creek. This is Slippery Rock Creek. There, this whole area here, good fishing in this area. Here, this is Alpha Falls. There's a little bit of a better picture of it. And it's not, I've seen it flowing more, I've seen it flowing less, so it's not going too bad right there. Coming back down out of it. And here we are at the mill. And I'm doing a time lapse shot here. I think this was a 5 second shot. Yeah, because there's a 15-second one there. See if I can go back one. Actually, that's not ice. That is all water. With the time lapse, yeah, that's actually the dam for the mill, the diversion dam, because the mill would be off to the right hand side of the shot. And I did 5 seconds on that. I believe it's 5 seconds, and that's what gives the water where the it's frothy, gives it that white streaky image. Because if you look on top of the dam on the standing water behind the dam, it is glass calm. But we'll go back over to the next one. Yeah, we only have 10 minutes. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get to Ricketts Glen. Yeah, like this next one, that's 15 seconds, and the water downstream of the dam almost looks like fog at this point. This was that was more of a an experiment, if you will, and that's another thing. I would specialize in waterfalls. Waterfalls were just some fun stuff. So let me go back over here. I'm gonna pop out of that. Trying to think of when I went to Ricketts Glen. Was it 2015? Yeah, I went then too, but these ain't the good shots. Let's go back 2013. Okay, there we go. So what? I'll do one more share here before we're done for the evening, and okay, we're gonna go through. I can't even remember the falls names, but this is Ricketts Glen, and each one of these is going to be a different fall. Again, I was playing with time lapse. Some of these are 1 second, some of these are like 5 seconds. Most of them are between like 1 and 5. I don't think I went any further than that. But one thing with these time lapse photographs, what does it kind of really pulls the detail out. If you just snap a shot of it, I'm not saying you're not going to get a lot of detail, but there's a lot of stuff you may miss over a time lapse. A time lapse, that water will show you what your detail is, because you'll have like these little trickles off to the side of the main that you'll see kind of just falling down over stuff. Plus, it kind of gives it motion because if you look off to the side, like on the ground, everything's perfectly still. The water, that timed exposure gives that water motion, makes it look like it's running, even though it's just a picture. That's a good question, Bern. But what I do know about that is people would know when the equinoxes were and the solstices were. They knew when the longest day of the year was. They knew when the shortest day of the year was, and that's through observation, years of observation. They knew, and it would fall at the same time every year. So I think it started with that. There's four major parts during our year. Started with that, and they would know when the cycle would start over. So they would start with that, and once they figured that out, they could start parsing it down to a day. And once they figured out that day, then they could, okay, so many hours have passed, or we're at this, the sun's at this position in the sky, so we're morning. It's in this position in the sky, we're in evening. It's straight up overhead of us. We're halfway through the day. So I think there's a lot of that based on that too. Moon and stars is also good. Uh, the moon and stars would be more your days and your months because they also figured out how many days were in a lunar cycle. Um, to go from new moon, half moon, full moon, back the other way to back to new moon again and come full circle again. Yeah, someone came with the leap year, screwed everything all back up again. Let me fast forward a couple of these. No, this one was kind of interesting for me because I like the water, but to kind of really give you an idea of what's going on here, as I say, given the water motion, is if you look at the water coming down and you see that streaking coming down, it looks like it's moving, but you see that log laying there on the falls, dead still. So the way I look at it kind of gives it an extra dynamic effect. As I said, I'm kind of talking with my photographer eyes instead of what it actually is, but I guess that's a little bit of the artist in me trying to come out, if that makes any sense. Yeah, but Ricketts Glen has like I think 24 waterfalls in it, and if you go over Sullivan Run, just on the other side of this mountain, there's another 18 or 19 waterfalls over there. Oh, that one was beautiful. And that's not even a fall. That's just a little ripple area coming down. That whole drop there is maybe a foot and a half, maybe 2 foot. CR with the camera language there. I so enjoy this. Yeah, some of these I may go through and kind of re-edit because I think I could probably get the colors a little bit better now because my editing software back then wasn't the greatest. That was a nice one. And that was, you get down these deep ones where you just, in the background, you just have like the very top of it. And I kind of wanted to get more of that, but I didn't want to rock the camera up any more than what I already was because it was taken away from the waterfall itself. And I couldn't back up anymore because I was literally up against a rock wall. So this is like one of those cases where you kind of have to take what you can get. And that's the last one there. But especially if I do any waterfalling, I'll have to go out, take my video camera with me, and kind of walk you guys through what I'm doing there. But that's my hour. There's a live stream I want to catch here in about a half an hour myself. Vern will probably be there, Bass After Dark. That's where I'm going to be going to next, and like to get ready for that. So, hey, I thank you all for coming. I love you all, and I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night, everybody.